Diabetes is a major health problem in Australia and worldwide. About 1.7 million Australians have a type of diabetes. 2 million are estimated at high risk of developing type 2 diabetes, and the yearly cost of diabetes is around $14.6 billion. Public policy, research funding, the research agenda, and community responses are all influenced by how diabetes appears in the media. So how do the Australian news media write about diabetes? To find out, we analysed newspaper articles about diabetes from 12 national and metropolitan Australian newspapers in the last 5 years. We collected articles that included any word starting with diabet in the headline or first paragraph. For example, diabetes, diabetic, or diabetics. We included news, but also other items like opinion, analysis, or profiles. In total, we collected 694 articles, 577 news items, and 117 other items. Altogether, we collected about 250,000 words. The most items were published in the West Australian and the Advertiser from South Australia. The fewest items were published in the Australian Financial Review and in the NT News. The small quantity of items in the NT News is problematic because the Northern Territory actually has the second highest percentage of people registered on the National Diabetes Services Scheme. We used computer analysis to explore the frequency of words in our dataset. This table shows how often each type of diabetes is mentioned and in how many articles. This does not reflect actual incidence of diabetes in Australia, as type 2 diabetes represents 85% of cases, but the expression type 2 only appears in 47.4% of our dataset. We also found that more than a quarter of all items labelled people with diabetes using the noun diabetic. Diabetes researchers criticise such noun uses because it reduces people to their disease. Alternative expressions, such as people with diabetes, are preferred. Surprisingly, only 36 of the 694 articles mentioned either of the words Aboriginal, Aborigines, Indigenous, or Torres Strait Islander. This corresponds to only 5% of the dataset. But how much more likely are Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander Australians to have diabetes or pre-diabetes? Almost 4 times more likely. In fact, for Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander Australians, diabetes is the second leading cause of death, compared to 7th for all Australians. If we want to change the Indigenous health gap in Australia, we also need to change the conversation.